It's alive. Cool. And no message from Andrew. No message from Marvin.
No, no, Eric or Tyler, either one, either.
I thought for sure Eric would be here.
Yeah, yeah. He wants to show off his new machine,
Yeah.
which is looking pretty good. No,
Yeah,
I gotta
he's getting
admit.
decent rates out of it. It seems
Yeah,
like.
yeah. 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 I don't think he liked my idea of getting a backboard, though, did he, Tony?
Yeah, no.
We were talking last night on the chat, and he was saying that there was lots of material available in the remnant bins that he can, I guess they don't care if you haul it home, and
Boy, oh boy, that would be a dangerous thing.
well, he, but so I asked him, well, how do you get to work? Well, it's a 10-minute walk from the house to the train. What did he say? 30 or 40-minute train trip, and then a 10-minute walk from the train station to work. And then, so he burns up 2 hours a day commuting back and forth to Inventables. Well, I said, well, hell, just get yourself a good quality packboard and strap your 80/20 down to it and put it on put it on and away you go. When you get to the train, just take it off and it's like a briefcase, but he didn't. I said, a young man like him, you should be able to pack 50 pounds a day out of that place.
Yeah, Chicago makes it really super easy to use the trains, though. That is one thing I really liked about Chicago was the transit's not an afterthought in that city. It sort of evolved with the city over time, and there's not a lot of cities in the U.S. that can say that. New York probably for one, but I don't know how you feel about it, Tony, but I always thought it was pretty nice. We lived in Naperville.
Oh, yeah. Man, you've been everywhere.
Yeah, we born and raised in Dakotas, and I was working there. Ended up in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, for a little bit of time, and then back to North Dakota for about a month, and then to Chicago to go to work for a company called Weather Connect, which was owned by, I think I told you that before, Jerry Taft, the weather guy.
Oh, Jerry Taft?
Yeah, he was the owner of it.
Oh, wow. Trying to be John Coleman.
Well, he was he liked the white stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Fan.
Yes, he
did. Yes, he did.
I used to see him around the hopping restaurants downtown.
He was a nice guy. I liked working for him.
Yeah.
He was a pretty cool.
How to lose a fortune. Invest in white stuff. Yeah. I'll tell you, someplace that has insane train traffic is India. I don't know if you've ever watched any YouTube footage on the trains in India. They are insane.
Really?
Oh, they'll take a train. There's one central station on the coast, on the west coast of India, and I can't remember the name of the city that it is in. The city has 17 million population.
Yeah, no way. Can you imagine?
And,
that's like Mexico City.
And the train station, they have coming in and out of that train station on a daily basis 1,500 trains.
Wow.
Come in and out. All right? During the rush hour, It's stand up only, and it is shoulder to shoulder. They don't close the doors on the trains. All the trains in the United States and every place else in the world, when people get on, everybody is past the doors and the doors close. The doors, I don't even know if they have doors. And people are hanging out of the doors. The train, they like double. The train has got a capacity of like 1,500 people, and they'll put like 3,000 people on the train. I mean, it is insane. An average of 9 people a day die in India because of falling off of the train or walking in front of the train or whatever. But an average of 9 people a day. I mean, it was just insane watching the video on that. The trains are so crowded that when the business they have women's cars and men's cars. They don't mix the sexes on the trains. Women ride in the women's cars and men in the men's. And nobody carries any briefcases, or they don't pack their lunch with them. There's some 15,000 men that transport people's lunches from their homes to their work every day.
Wow.
And it's a choreographed system where the porter will show up at Joe's house at the exact same time in the morning every morning and get Joe's lunch from Joe's wife, and he'll load it on his bicycle and take it to the train station, and they'll load it onto a cart and put it on the train and take it from that train station to the next, and if it has to transfer, they'll transfer it and everything else. And ultimately, it'll wind up at Joe's office on Joe's desk on time. It's just, it's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. But, yeah, we don't have trains in the United States when you compare it to India.
Nope, nothing like that. Well, I don't know. Nothing like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Been in your shop all day?
No.
No?
No, I've been just absolutely super lazy. I'm ashamed of myself.
I've been kind of looking at the feedback on the end plates. I've been asking people to post, and I've still got a few people that haven't said that they've gotten them yet. I'm sure they have by now, but there's one that may not post that he got his just to spite me.
Really?
End plates or your
those the spindle mounts. Yeah,
spindle mounts, yeah.
There was one guy that wasn't happy with all the delays, and
gee.
you have to go read that whole thread.
Is that the guy that said he paid for it 45 days ago?
Yeah.
He was a butt.
Yep.
Hope you're not watching live. Hello.
I get it, but I said all along that a lot of this is going to be out of my control. It's just
Well, yeah. I mean, and it's not like you're in the business to provide mounts for, what is it, Makita?
Yeah. Yeah.
Makita trim router. You know, you guys just came up with a design and made 2 or 3 of them and posted some pictures, and then all of a sudden people, well, we're gonna get one. We're gonna get one.
It's kind of funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, same thing with my tall, wide end plates. You know, I've got some people that want one of those or a set of those. And then, yeah, complain because circumstances beyond your control slowed down the supply chain.
Yeah, I mean, he's you know, he's got bigger customers that he has to worry about. So.
Bigger fish to fry, for Pete's sakes.
Yeah, I was there a couple of days ago, and he was working on these little teeny rods, stainless steel. They're probably, let's call them 2 inches long, with a little. So it's 2 inches long, and on one end it comes to a cone, and then to a really thin shaft. And these rods are maybe an eighth of an inch in diameter at the thickest part, and who knows, that maybe a 64th for that little stem that came out.
Right.
And then they were tapped and drilled at like 5 equilateral points around that 1/8 inch shaft. Tapped, or drilled and then tapped. Just crazy at both ends, and then there was a slot cut in that really teeny small end.
Holy cow!
And they needed 19 of them. Yeah, they cost 19 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so funny, he doesn't use any software to price stuff. He just kind of looks at it and goes, this is X number of operations, and these guys have been doing it long enough. They just kind of know, how long it's going to take them, and it's probably pretty damn accurate. But yeah, I think there were 100. I think there were 120 a piece or something like that. It ended up the cost on them.
Yeah.
For 19 of them.
And the customer's probably happy with it.
Oh yeah. It's Department of Navy.
Because he was probably getting oh well.
Yeah. So that's nothing.
Yeah. When we got $500 toilet seats, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, I mean that's all he does. Probably 90% of what he does is for the Navy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, you like contracts like that.
Yeah.
So as a consequence, your dozen spindle mounts, if there's no machine available for the next 3 weeks because of Navy contracts, then your stuff sits on the shop floor or in a bin someplace.
But the upshot of that is I really don't have to pay material costs, or very low anyway, because if he can use drops from whatever he's got, that's what he does for whatever I need.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So it works out. It helps him get rid of some material that otherwise would be, who knows? I don't know how much of that he saves. He's got a hell of a scrap pile in the back. But.
Oh, I imagine a couple times a year he probably takes it to a scrap dealer and sells it off. I just went down and bought 68 pounds worth of aluminum here early this week, Monday, a matter of fact, and cost me $105.
Aluminum is stupid out here.
Yeah. Well, I pay
if I go to a place that sells, like, there's a I can't remember the name of the metal. I can't remember the name of it, but IMS, Industrial Metal Supply, that's out here, and the tool plate drops are ridiculous. They're 20%, 30% higher than Minneapolis for sure.
Oh.
But I suppose it could have something to do with distance from port where they come in from. I don't know.
I pay $1.75 a pound, $50 minimum at the place that I go.
For plate, for tool plate, or for just straight any aluminum?
Aluminum.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whether it's 6061 or mix 6. Doesn't matter if it's
That's a good deal. Wow.
yeah.
Even
It doesn't matter if it's 3/8, a quarter of an inch thick, or if it's 3 inches thick. It's $1.75 a pound.
Wow.
You know, he's got a scales right there, and there's I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4 bins that get stacked full of drops from their sawing operations, and you take pot luck. Now Rick was kind enough when I walked in. I had a a piece of the material that I'd cut a set of, or I'd cut one Y-axis end plate out of, and I handed it to him, and I says, "You got any 6061 T6, quarter inch thick that I can make some of these up?" And he said, "Well, a second, let me look." And he walked back in the back, and a few minutes later, he came out carrying probably 30 pounds of quarter inch plate that we stuck it on the no, it was more than that. I think it was 50 pounds.
Wow.
And stuck it on the scales, and I added some to it, and because there was some nice mix 6 there, and he gave me a 5-pound discount because it was close to Thanksgiving, so
Nice.
yeah. But
So you're just working on the knobs right now, Tony? That's all you get going?
Yeah, that's the only thing that I should be doing. Playing around with trying to do some other tail lights. Some tail lights I had made before that were 1, 2, 3-piece assemblies from laser cut acrylic, and then one of the components was a 3 3/4 OD acrylic tube that was sliced into widths like lunch meat and then sliced in half into C's, trying to figure out how to get the cost down on all that stuff. So I've got a 3D printed version, and I'm trying to come up with a new version that I could cut on the CNC out of flats. Just trying to come up with a cheaper way of getting it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, those C's, the only trouble. How thick are is the C?
The C, here's one here. Let me see. It is roughly 180.
180 thousandths?
Well, wait a minute. Yes.
No, geez.
It's
so just shy of 3/16.
Yeah, it's like 178 on one side, 197 on the other side. Nice tolerance.
So 3/16 if you average it out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because I'm paying, I think it was $6 for each C.
$6 for each C.
But it's all, the guy's got to, basically, they've got to take the tube, slit it lengthwise, or cut it to width, and then cut the circle into half.
Yeah. And it doesn't wind up a full circle because of the curve.
Right. Well,
Or
I designed all the
circle.
parts that attach to it to be less that curve. So.
Okay. Okay.
All the parts being 2.
Right.
But that's the killer. I mean, everything else is like under $1 a piece.
Yeah.
And those C's were 6. I'm like, okay, there's got to be a really easy way to make these much cheaper.
Well, you could machine them in aluminum out of 3/16 and nest them to reduce the waste number.
Yeah, well, and that's what I just finished drawing up earlier today, was breaking it down into quarter-inch sheet pieces. So I've got basically 5 quarter-inch thick pieces to make that proper thickness. And then I kind of was trying to figure out how to, because both the ID and the OD are important, so I couldn't really bump it up much to accept a screw. So I bumped it up as much as I could, and I think I'm going to cut those and see what the critical thickness is for acrylic in terms of material left behind between a through hole and the edge of the material.
What size screws are you thinking?
The smallest I want to deal with, number 4.
Oh, that's a huge screw.
that's
That's
as
what she
small as I
said.
want to go.
That's huge.
Yeah, I used 256s at work for a part, and that's just crazy.
Try 172s.
No.
Or odd
Those
80s.
break faster than a 1/16th bit.
Those steam engines that I built had a whole shit pot full of 172s on them.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't imagine this thing's ever to do that.
Each cylinder, I think.
What
I
kind of
remember
head is on those screws?
I use socket head cap screws. Oh no, I didn't either. I used hex. I used hex bolts on a lot of them, and hex nuts.
I don't think I've ever even seen anything that small.
Yeah. These were all model gauge nuts and bolts.
Okay.
So they're about half the size of a standard 172 or 256 or 348 or 540 bolt, hex bolt. And then I also used a lot of socket head cap screws in those same numbers.
Jeez.
But yeah, I think there was like 40 tapped holes on each cylinder, if I remember right.
How did you tap those?
By hand.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But what I did is I by hand, but I've got a little block that's an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter long by an inch square that has several holes in it that just pass a tap through them.
Oh, so you got it straight, like a bushing,
Yeah.
like a drill bushing.
And well, it's a guide, and so I can lay that block on top of things, and then hold it down with my thumb, put my tap through it with my tap handle, and then tap it, and then back it out, and it keeps it square, and it doesn't let me,
Yeah.
do anything that takes it off center that's going to cause it to break. I didn't break any taps in that operation, and all total there's probably, there's over 100 nuts and bolts holding those engines together and everything.
Wow.
So
I saw that video from, was it the NYC CNC of that
the flex arm?
the flex arm, yeah, oh my god.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it would be hard. It wouldn't be hard to duplicate some of that if you look at doing something like one of those desk lamps that uses the articulated arms.
The arm is not the hard part. The hard part is the driver.
It's a die grinder is all it is.
No, it's not.
No, there's a clutch in there.
There's a
clutch is in the head. The clutch is in that. The clutch is in. If you watch it, the clutch is in that chuck that goes onto it.
Right. But there's also a reduction gear in there someplace, because it doesn't spin at die grinder speed.
Yeah, that's true.
It's an air driven. I'll agree that it's air driven, but it's got some serious planetary reduction in there to give it the torque for driving those bigger taps that he was driving on that video.
Well, like that 1 inch or whatever the hell it was.
Wow, that was at the FlexArm factory on their heavy duty machine. Yeah, that thing had some serious horsepower.
But and just for normal everyday stuff, it seems like you could just servo control a small motor with enough guts to it, and just servo it in torque mode.
That's all you need. It'd be just coming up with the motor and the chuck, you know.
Yeah.
Because then you wouldn't need any clutches or stuff. You just drive it straight in torque mode.
Yeah. Well, so long as you're not doing any blind, that's where he used the clutch was when he tapped blind.
Oh, but that's what I'm saying about running it in torque mode. That's essentially like a clutch. It would be a software setup.
Oh, okay. Clutch. Yeah. In that respect, yeah. But you got to get that right.
So there are gear reduced die grinders, like 3M has a die grinder, AirPower.
Oh yeah. They're out there.
Yeah. But it's still 4,000 RPM.
Yeah.
I think some of the stuff I saw was like 1.
Back in 1978, I went to work for a fella in Sheridan, Oregon, that owned industrial machine and built the Industrial Light horizontal milling machine. He also had a contract for making 2-inch cap nuts out of 4140 for a pump place that he used to work for down in Portland, and I ran the turret lathe and made those nuts. And you want some pucker factor? Power tap, a 2-inch tap that is solid mounted, no clutch, no nada, into a blind hole.
Nice.
Oh,
2 inch long or 2 inch diameter?
2-inch diameter.
Oh my God.
2-inch diameter thread.
That's a bit of torque.
You know that NYCNC. If you watch that video, that tapping video, he shows you the factory where they actually do that. I think it was 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches or something.
Oh yeah, that's what they say. That one's got a serious horsepower issue.
Yeah.
You just see the chips just kind of like squirting straight up and.
Oh yeah, well they're using a spiral flute tap designed for power tapping, and yeah.
I got to ask my machine shop if they have a flex arm just to.
I'm kind of surprised Philip, the guy at my shop, doesn't have one, because if there's times he's got him and another guy that help him, and he's I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 machines total. I never remember, but it seems like if you could free up your machines from tapping, that would be a good thing.
Seems like free money.
Well, that's what John at CNC at New York CNC was saying, that it'll save him a lot of machine time not having to tap in the machine. Just drill the holes, throw the part on the table, and zing 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 zing, and you're done with it while the next part is running.
Yeah.
So if you're in a production mode, then one of those flex arms is definitely a time and labor saver. So, but I don't know how expensive they are, but I bet you they aren't cheap.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
I was just checking with my guy. He's got 6 Mazaks, vertical mills, 1 horizontal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 CNC turning system.
With live tooling?
Oh, I have no idea.
Probably.
He's just it's all Mazak.
Yeah.
Mazak QTs, multiplex, Integrex, SQT, and a QT. And then, of course, he's got a Bridgeport.
So here's a Sioux Tools, 300 RPM, 600 inch-pounds of torque.
600 inch-pounds? Inch-pounds, that's not real big.
No, 300 RPM, but you could do some tapping with that.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the 1.5 or 2-inch tabs, but you know.
No. Anything less than that would be all right.
Yeah. I can't imagine doing taps that big as common. Anyway, I suppose it depends on where like where John at NYCNC says he was.
I mean, I can easily see that here at a Caterpillar factory, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Or,
oil
like
fields.
I say, these big pumps took some hilarious big nuts and bolts and everything to hold them together.
Here's something with 12 foot-pounds. That would do some. Not sure what the rotors look like on something like that, to be able to do, how do you control torque with air?
Well, there's lots of companies that make slip clutches.
Yeah.
Just go straight mechanical, but I'm thinking that the easy way is just servo control of a motor. That way you run it in torque mode, you specify the torque, and it just goes. The easy way would be to use an animatics stepper of the correct size, because one of the operating modes is torque mode. You give it a torque, and it just constantly applies that torque.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, you need a hefty stepper for some of that stuff.
Oh, yeah. That is for sure.
Where's that?
So how are you coming on your machine, Dave?
I'm stalled. I'm being lazy. You guys should come over here and slap me.
I'm sure we can get your wife to do that, huh?
She just volunteered.
Yeah,
You didn't hear her.
Did. I called it.
Yeah. Yeah. The mic didn't pick her up, but she, as soon as I said that, her words out of her mouth was, "I can do that." So, what is he saying, your bird?
Oh, God, I have no idea.
Oh.
Usually it's hi, guy.
Oh. He's got a macaw, right, Tony?
Goffin's cockatoo.
Dolphin's cockatoo. Yeah, and it's one of the white ones, right?
Yeah, white with peach.
Yeah, white with peach. And probably stands, what, about 10 inches tall?
Yeah, roundabout. Yep.
Yeah.
You have to get 'em on. You have to put them on air, man.
Yeah, I don't. I can't see how I can do that. I'm looking around. It's like, well, I don't have a camera. I could probably use my phone. Hang out in there.
Does he? Do you hold him often or no?
Oh no, he doesn't. He's not a holding
He's
bird.
not a holder.
Same
No.
same thing with the gray. I mean, you can pet him and touch him as much as you want, but he will not go on anybody.
Oh, is that
I will.
right?
I will
Yeah,
bite you.
the only way he'll like the only time you can get him on you, like the conures, I used to keep on my shoulder all the time.
Yeah.
Um, but the gray and with the cockatoo, the only time they're ever on me is if like something scares them and they fly off the cage, and then
Mm-hmm.
I have to go retrieve them to take them back to the cage. They'll step up on my finger, and then I can take them to the cage, and that's all they want to do with being in contact with a person.
Wow. Wow.
But I mean,
You
you
know.
can walk up to them and pet them for as long as you want. They have no problem with that.
Yeah.
It's just weird that you can't, they don't want to hang out on you.
Oh.
I've seen birds like that though. That's just like people. Some
Oh
people
yeah.
don't want to hang out on you.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like when I first got the gray, the first 8 weeks he wanted to kill me. So,
Oh, really?
oh God, he almost ate through his steel bars to get me. And then
Wow.
at one point, the switch just flipped, and he was my best buddy.
Yeah.
Was he from somebody else, or did you get him as a young guy, or?
Um, he was actually I got him from my ex-wife, who had him forever. Um, and I don't know, I just after enough times of being around him, feeding him, giving him water, talking to him, he finally just kind of figured I was not going to kill him or anything.
Yeah. If I the the Hans macaw is on his playpen, just right here beside me, right now, eating. But if I was to get up and head for the bathroom, he would uh, he would start saying, step up," and he'd move down. And if I stuck my hand out, he'd step right onto my hand, and then I could swing him over, and he'd go onto my shoulder,
Sure.
and he'd ride to the bathroom with me, and uh,
Wow.
and all, and ride back. Um, but and Linda's other bird, the um, mustache parakeet, that crazy bird, he'll ride on her shoulder, on her sleeve. He'll ride on her sleeve upside down. Um,
That sounds like my conure.
he he's got no fear whatsoever. Well, here, look at this.
No, you don't need to step up.
That started out as a 2x3,
Wow.
and this
Now
is about
that's
this.
been lathed.
Yeah, this is about 3 weeks worth of work.
No,
Maybe 3 or 4 weeks worth of work that the mustaches has
It could
done
be a
to this
boat.
board. Huh?
It could be a boat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But he deserves his name, Chewy.
Huh.
Uh,
you want to step up? Daddy's not getting out.
Yeah, the
Step
gray
up,
likes
yes.
chewing through his wooden perches, so I switched over a rope, and he's afraid of it, so I need to go back to the wooden ones.
Yeah.
You want to see Papa? You want to see Papa? Huh? You want to go see Papa?
But yeah, birds are cool. Birds are cool. Because Linda won't let me get a snake.
I do like snakes too. I have to admit, I've seen some cool ones.
Yeah.
Maybe you can start with a lizard.
Yeah.
Well, she won't let me get a lizard either. You know, well, actually, she says I can get any of that as long as I keep it in the shop. It ain't gonna stay in the house.
A big snake
But
could be theft deterrence.
That's right.
yeah.
Probably a little
Yeah.
cold in winter out there for him, though.
Yeah. Definitely. It's 40 degrees Fahrenheit outside right now.
But you got a heater out there, so
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I keep it at 50 out there in the shop, so I don't get a bunch of rust.
yeah.
Yeah, I need to start playing around with this curly maple that the guy gave me.
What are you going to do with it?
One of the products I make is an illuminated panel that goes in over the top of a cup holder, of the cup holder pocket. So there's like a recessed area where you can put two drinks in the car.
Yeah.
And I do an acrylic panel that goes over that. That's got some edge lit clear sections underneath so that it lights up. And this guy's he's a woodworker, and he's always doing stuff with burls. And
Oh, yeah.
I told him, I'm like, hey, I got this CNC thing. You want me to do you a wooden cup holder panel? And he's like, sure, here, I'll get you some wood. And so he got me this nice chunk of curly maple. It's really, really well figured. And then I'm like, make sure you give me two pieces of scrap that are similar hardness that I can play with, because I don't want to get the feeds and speeds wrong on your nice piece of wood.
Just make note of the that form on Inventables about the guy that had his piece warp. There's some good information there that got passed around. So
Oh, okay.
about warpage and what can cause it.
Well, wasn't that on a glue up though?
Yeah, and there's a lot of things. The end result, I think, the last guy that, well, I don't know if he's the last guy, but there was a guy that posted kind of after I said what I wanted to say, but there was a guy that said that it's just the stress in the wood. So he had been, he had his piece and he was carving on one side and removed a large portion of the wood from that wood's one side, and the wood was allowed to just warp up after that because the way the stress in the wood worked. And
Sure.
there's no way you can't predict that. There's
Right.
just no way. Moisture content has some to do with it, but you have no idea other than looking at the edge of the board to see what the grain it looks like.
Right.
And you have to kind of look at where it was cut from the log. And there are some sections that are more susceptible than others to do that. So that's
yeah,
one thing.
don't you want that kind of couple?
Well, in a glue up, what you would do is you would glue alternate patterns together so
Right.
that
One nullifies the other.
they nullify each other. Yeah. So that's about all you can do. That and just monitor moisture content. But yeah, there's some good information there. I hope. Yeah. There's some good information passed around. Lynn looks like he was able to get it straightened out again. He did the right thing and kind of just put some weight on it. He didn't wet it again. I probably would have thrown a damp towel over it and let it sit with some weight on it. It would have, and it did. It sounds like he got it flat again. But he was like, "Why is my router doing this?"
Ain't the router.
Yeah, not your router.
Yeah.
I know it
Cold
looks like that.
rolled steel is notorious for bananaing, curving up when you take a cut across it and relieve that surface stress on the skin of it. It'll go just big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about this stuff I'm doing with this piece of maple. It's just a straight profile. I mean, I'm not doing really any milling. I'm just cutting it out.
Yeah.
Yep. You can minimize some of the warpage too after you cut it out. If you were to take like you could use wood glue diluted in water, like 4:1.
Oh, like a sealer or something.
And just paint it on the edges, just on the edges, because once you have those edges, those fresh edges, it'll lose a ton of moisture out those edges fast, and that's kind of what can cause that warpage.
Yeah, they wax them too, don't they?
Yeah, waxing's that's also common. The glue is nice because if you're using the right glue, it's paintable.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want to do with it. There's lots of techniques, but
yeah, I'm sure whatever happens with this stuff, he's seen it before and he can fix it if anything changes.
Yep.
Because like I said, he did his shifter out of this stuff. He got a giant block of this, and he did a shifter handle that he dyed green because he's one of those crazy guys that has a green car.
I'd like a shifter, something like that for my Tundra. That'd be cool.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't. He needs to get on. He needs to sell that stuff like online or something. Because I mean, he does pens and all sorts of other stuff. But I think he does it for fun because he likes it. And then he gives them away as gifts and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many exotic woods that they, especially Rockler, sells pen blanks.
Oh yeah.
And all kinds of exotic woods that you can
A couple
make.
of weeks. 2-3 weeks ago, I had to go to Rockler to get those clamps, those hold-down clamps.
Mm-hmm.
And right as their bin was outside with all the various drops of wood, I'm like checking through that on the way, and I'm like, stop! You just need hold-down. So I went past it and walked in. And then I hit the back of the store just as I was browsing. They had like the Bobinga and the Purple Heart and all that. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, there's some cool woods out there, that's for sure.
I've got a piece of neat wood right here beside me. This is a piece of mesquite.
Oh yeah, that's hard stuff too.
Yeah, I've never tuned it. I put the sound hole in it and started tuning up there, but I never put any tuning holes in it. I suppose just like the CNC router, someday I'll get off my dead ass and tune this puppy up. A little luck. But that's what I did in a different
You gotta
hobby
get out there,
life.
Dave.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Yeah. There's some crazy shifter designs. I just kind of Googled that out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Some are practical, some are just like, that's ugly.
Yeah, a lot of the popular ones are like the one from, was it Gone in 60 Seconds, the Eleanor shifter?
Oh, yeah.
It's basically just a black ball with a button on it that says "Go baby go."
Yeah. Hello.
But yeah, I've actually got a nice shifter I got, and obviously it was from China because it looks to be, it's solid 6061. It's not small, and it was like $69, and that just seemed crazy cheap for a car part.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
It's like I couldn't have that custom made for under 150.
No, probably not.
It doesn't look too hard to make one if you want to keep it round on a lathe. It would be pretty easy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's. Well, here, let me see if I'll get a picture of mine just to kind of show you what it looks like. See, it's brushed aluminum, so it's hard to see. That's a decent picture. But it just seems crazy that all that aluminum.
Oh, nice.
And it's multi-piece too. I mean, it's not just one piece. There's a trigger, and for the release. There's a.
How hard are those to put on? Pretty easy.
Oh, it's real easy. Basically, it's one screw.
Oh, nice.
There's a torque screw on the front. You loosen it on the stock one, pull it straight up, drop the new one down, tighten the screw, you're done.
Okay, and the piece that you got goes clear to the clear down to the tunnel, to the black piece that we see
Here's another
at the
shot.
bottom of it, right?
It basically just dead ends. It's the stock shifter is just like a post that sticks up. So
Right.
That last link, you see more of a bottom shot.
Right.
And you see the locking screw.
Yeah. Slide it in place, put the screw in, tighten it down, and it's there. Yeah.
And then so the guy that did the green burl one was just shaped like the standard shifter, which is, well, that's a great picture, which is here. I don't know if that link will work.
Did you buy that new Camaro?
No, not yet. I'm trying. I got to get the guy to give me a number because they got one in. I don't know if I mentioned that.
You did, yeah.
And, I'm not spending $47,000 on a Chevy.
Oh no, you could buy 2 or 3 Tormacs for that.
You put it in those terms.
Yeah. Or a used Haas.
Yeah.
There's a guy in LA right now that's got 2 Haas mini mills for sale for about $22 each right now.
Yeah.
And very low hours on them, like a couple hundred or something stupid.
And you haven't jumped on one of them?
Right?
What, 22K or 2200?
Yeah, 22K.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's 20. I think 21 is what he was asking. But, yeah.
Let's see.
I'm surprised.
22K.
And that's
You
what
could get a 440 and a 770 for that amount.
The mini mill's nice too, though. That's that was with the tool changer. I think I don't know how many it was. Oh, I don't remember how many it's on the tool changer, but yeah. Yeah, that comes through.
Enough that you can do some serious work without having to.
Yep. Well, guys, there's nobody coming, and we had one viewer at one point. I don't know who it was, but.
Well, maybe we should call it an early night.
Yep.
I think so.
I have no more bits to break.
So you're safe. No CNCing for you tonight.
Yeah, until Monday.
I've got the 8th. So.
Yeah.
And a quarter, and I should try the V-bits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, all right, guys.
All right.
I'm gonna blow.
Yep.
Take care.
Yep.